Trump, sex, lies, and videotapes. What am I talking about? Could be a lot of things, but I am talking about Charles Kushner, Jared Kushner's father, who is a convicted felon involving sex, lies, and videotapes, who's now the nominee to be the ambassador to France for Donald Trump. Donald Trump likes to collect disbarred lawyers, especially ones that serve time in prison, and why not the father of his son-in-law. I'm Michael Popok. You're here. You're here already. Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. Hit the blue subscribe button because I'm Michael Popok. I'm sitting at the intersection of law, politics, pardons, and foreign relations. Let's look at the sordid tale of Charles Kushner. Charles Kushner made a lot of money in real estate development, father of Jared Kushner. And Chris Christie was the U.S. attorney in New Jersey before he tried to kiss Donald Trump's butt and become his attorney general back in the first term. Never was going to happen, especially when I tell you the rest. Chris Christie prosecuted Charles Kushner. Now you see why Chris Christie and Jared Kushner didn't get along? Prosecuted Charles Kushner and got and obtained a felony conviction, 18 counts of tax evasion, illegal campaign contributions. He was once a Democrat. And get this, witness tampering. Now we're back to sex, lies, and videotapes. Do I have your attention now? All right. So here's what happened. They had a cooperating witness against Charles Kushner in the form of his brother-in-law, married to his sister, Esther. The guy's name, Bill Schulder. In order to try to get Bill Schulder not to testify against Charles Kushner hired a prostitute, had her approach Schulder, enter into a sex act with him that was videotaped, and then had it mailed to his sister, Esther, to try to get Bill Schulder not to be a cooperating witness. It was so bad, just the witness tampering part, that it led Chris Christie to exclaim, and he's seen a lot as the U.S. attorney, the prosecuting federal officer for all of New Jersey, to exclaim it was the most loathsome and disgusting set of crimes that he had ever prosecuted. That Charles Kushner. So Charles Kushner goes away for 14 months to a federal penitentiary, and he lost his bar licenses. That's the Donald Trump has a thing, gets a hard-on for some reason for disbarred or soon-to-be disbarred lawyers. See Rudy Giuliani, right? See Ken Chesebro, and see John Eastman, and I could go on all day on a hot take. So the guy comes out, went in a Democrat, came out now that his son married into the family and the Ivanka converted to Judaism. I guess that's some sort of requirement in the family. It's not like they're following the Talmud or the Old Testament, or they did that. They skipped the 10 Commandments. Charles Kushner comes out and he's been angling for a pardon forever, right? Finally, because his son marries into the family and becomes the first son-in-law, they eventually get a pardon for him in 2020 from Donald Trump after Kushner, it's all transactional, made a huge set of multi-million-dollar donations. Poof, a pardon came out of it. Doesn't change his disbarment in 3 states. So that's just 2020. And lo and behold, in 2024, he's completely rehabilitated. And we like sending apparently felons to our major trading partners and part of our NATO alliance like France, right, where you can call up Macron, tell him, hey, great news, I got my convicted felon son-in-law's father coming over to be the ambassador to France. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. Another affront to American principles and normalcy and our stature and standing around the world, that in one of the plum ambassadorships, UK, Australia, Canada, Italy, France, he gave it to Jared Kushner's father, a convicted felon that he had a pardon. And what about the disgusting part? You don't think there's going to be a lot of tittering around the court of the ambassadorship in France and its counterpart when they do a quick wiki search of Charles Kushner and say, wait, what did he do? He had a prostitute go after the brother-in-law to have a video created to send it to the sister in order to witness tamper? I mean, I don't know. Maybe the French will be like, he's our guy. He's our kind of guy, right? I mean, they tolerate a lot more in the mores of France than here. But I think even this is beyond the pale. But it's another joke. It's another FU to our, like, it's basically Donald Trump saying, I'm back. I know you wished I wasn't, but I'm back. And I'm sending whatever felon I feel like sending to you. Now, the Court of St. James, which is going to be the UK ambassador, it's probably going to be Woody Johnson again, who owns the New York Jets. He was once before. Or Donald Trump will just pick from another crazy batch of felons. I can think of a number of them. How about Steve Bannon for ambassador? Ambassador Bannon. You think that's crazy? Ambassador Matt Gaetz? Not crazy at all. And these don't have to be, well, that's a good question. I almost said out loud, this just shows you, I almost said out loud something that I'm not exactly sure is true, which is, and I'm going to look it up while we're doing this, is about the Senate confirmation of ambassadors. So give me a second. See, sometimes we do this stuff on the fly. I want to make sure I have it right. Yeah, they got to be confirmed by the Senate. So these are going to have to go through a Senate confirmation process. This will be fun. Here we go. We're going to have Jared Kushner's father sit in on a confirmation process through a nomination, then go through the Senate Foreign Relations Committee to review his qualifications. As far as I know, he has none of them to be in this position. Then the full Senate has to vote on the nomination. And then once confirmed, is officially appointed. I mean, I don't know. He could try an acting ambassador. According to my research, the president can appoint a charge d'affaires or an acting ambassador temporarily without Senate confirmation, but they don't hold the formal title of ambassador. So I guess that's Donald Trump's end run around this. If he can't get Charles Kushner shoved through MAGA Senate, which has the numbers to do it, unless there's a few people that go, yeah, I don't want a convicted felon to be the ambassador to France. There might be some objection to that, although there's no love lost in the Senate with France. He could make him an acting ambassador, which is really known as a charge d'affaires, if I have my French right. I'm sure I'll be corrected somewhere in the comments. And we'll go from there. But this is just trolling by Donald Trump of our NATO allies to send them the dregs of our society to be their ambassadors because he doesn't care about foreign relations. He doesn't care about diplomacy. Never doesn't even understand it. So let's see who he picks for the other leading NATO countries. You know, this group, this rogues gallery that I'll choose from as an FU to show that who's in charge. You know, that's all this is. That's all we're watching. Charles Kushner is no more qualified to be the ambassador to Paris than a chimpanzee wearing a diaper and smoking a cigarette. I always like that imagery. He's about as qualified, that chimp. But this is what Donald Trump's going to do, to be like a big FU to our trading partners and our allies and our NATO allies around the country, around the world. That's it. And I'll continue to follow it right here on Legal AF. Look, you're here already. Just go out, boom, hit that blue subscribe button, help us build this channel in collaboration with the Midas Touch Network. Legal AF, if you didn't know what it meant before, you do now. And then you can follow us on a podcast we call Legal AF as well, Wednesdays and Saturdays, 8 p.m. on the YouTube channel for Midas Touch, our collaborator over here. And then all things Legal AF, including the podcast, you can find right here, all my hot takes, new shows at the intersection of law and politics. We'll continue to follow all of it right here. So thank you for being here. And I appreciate you. Until my next Legal AF contribution, I am Michael Popok, and I am reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.